Hey guys, so Ixalan Lost Caverns came out today. So trying out a new format, gonna open this up, do an unedited take, open it up. So right now I'm mostly hoping to get, of course, who doesn't want some of the Jurassic World cards. I want to get that sweet Jeff Goldblum red-blue Chaotician. Chaotician? I don't know how to say that. But, by the way, since I'm doing a new format and not editing with this attempt, got two cats. You'll probably hear them making a ruckus like cats do. Back to the cards. Alright, so insert this time is artwork and says recover these lost artifacts to survive the depths. And flip to continue your descent. So I guess it's something. I thought it was just going to be artwork, but maybe it's some sort of like fun mini game. I don't know. Back in the box it goes. Set that aside. So the artwork on this one has, what would you call that, Aztec Mayan style. Kind of makes me think of the old Pitfall games. So inside, they still are doing this cardboard sleeve. Has lots of little things you can punch out. I believe I use the card dividers. Don't really use the tokens, but you could spin down die since it's one of my favorite parts to see. So this one, at least mine, is pink or a light red. It's got the set icon, of course, for the 20. Get your, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 packs. Got it. We've got our, actually I have no idea. So 2 different packs in here. One of them says Bundle Premium Lands, and it's got a card on the front. Mine looks like Hit the Mother Load. And the Bundle Regular Lands, which looks like I've got one of the Jurassic World cards there. So we'll start out, got a tiny little table here. We'll start out with, inside the box, followed up. Let's open up the Bundle Premium Lands. Same little waxy paper. So first card on the front is Hit the Mother Load. It's triple red 4, it's a sorcery, discover 10. And if the discovered card's value is less than 10, we get to create a number of tapped treasure tokens equal to the difference. Pretty cool. Sounds cool. Don't know how good it'll be. And then foil lands. Looks like they are not Jurassic themed. It is from the regular set, not a special edition of anything. Then now the one that at least has one card of the Jurassic World in it. Let's see what we get. Ooh. Permission denied. You didn't say the magic word. With, geez, I'm sure someone's going to correct me immediately, but I forever call him Newman. I know that's not his actual name, but Newman, doing the finger wave. So blue-white, permission denied, counter target non-creature spell. Your opponents can't cast non-creature spells this turn. So pretty cool. Right now I don't have any commander decks with blue-white in it. Strongly considering doing the making a commander deck out of the spooky drop that I pre-ordered. Said my cards will ship sometime after Christmas, so I'll probably see them in January. And it's got the Esper, the Lich Queen, as one of the Evil Dead art. And that would probably be, I don't know if that'd be good enough in zombies, you know? Definitely more control theme, but either way, love the flavor. So standard basic cards, no foils, no Jurassic art in them, so I have way too many basic lands piling up around here, so not sure what I will do with all those because at this point it is a little out of control. Alright, gonna make some room, get rid of the cardboard, pop the die off cam. Alright, so I'm gonna try opening up all the boosters in one video instead of doing one booster at a time and talking about it. Um, I like I like doing one booster at a time because it kind of gives me something to look forward to every day. But I like trying new things, so I've not done a format like this, and I feel like giving something new a try. New set, new format. So, all right, set boosters. So they have not started with what they call them, play boosters, I think it is, because right now we got draft and set boosters, and set boosters I feel are better. At least I have better luck with them. And from what I have read, other people do too. All right, so artwork, not sure what that is yet. I've only briefly glanced at spoilers, but I do not know values off the top of my head. Ooh. Full art foil planes. And that one, not Jurassic, but still cool. All right, so common, I will hold up like uncommons and rares because otherwise it could take forever, right? But maybe we'll change that halfway through. Who knows? We are live, sorta. When you watch this, it will not be live. Waylaying Pirates. So 3 in a blue gives us a 3/3 pirate. When it enters the battlefield, if you control an artifact, you get to tap an artifact or creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. I think that'll be good for limited. I suppose it could actually, I guess if you're making a pirate commander deck, might be good. So Shipwreck Sentry, blue card. I guess I already broke my own rule and showed a common. So 1 into colorless for a 3/3 defender. As long as an artifact entered the battlefield under our control this turn, it can attack as though it didn't have defender. Okay. Brackish Blunder. 1 in a blue, instant, return target creature to its owner's hand. If it was tapped, create a map token. So what is a map token? It's an artifact with 1 colorless cost, tap to sacrifice it, and target creature you control explores, activate only as a sorcery. Okay. Zoetic Glyph. 2 in a blue, enchantment aura. Enchanted artifact is a golem creature with a base power and toughness of 5/4 in addition to its other types. When it enters the battlefield, when it is put into a graveyard from battlefield, discover 3. Not sure if that'll be good. Oh, I got one of the other cards I was wanting. So green-black fungus guy. Fungus guy's name is Akawali, the Seething Tower. Colorless, black-green for a 3/3 legendary fungus. It has Descend 4 and Descend 8. So I believe Descend is a new word, keyword anyway. And that means when a permanent you control from the battlefield goes into a graveyard, you are descending. So Descend 4, as long as there are 4 or more permanents in your graveyard, Seething Tower gets +2/+2 and trample. If you have Descend 8, as long as there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, it gets +2/+2 and can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. Okay, so clarification, I guess, on Descend. Sounds like if you are descending, that means a permanent went to your graveyard this turn. But if it just says Descend in the number, that's how many permanent cards are in your graveyard. So not instants and sorcerers, right? So lands, creatures, enchantments, artifacts, planeswalkers. Oh my. Next up, I got a Synapse Necromage. So 3/1 for 2 and a black. When it dies, create 2 1/1 black fungus tokens with this creature can't block. So if I do decide to go through with the green-black legendary fungus to make my next commander deck, I would run that and the Seething Tower. Right now, I'm torn between going into a Risk the Redeemed commander deck that I've been working on to rebuild a deck that a friend of mine used to play against me. Geez, it seems like it's probably been a decade now. Anyway, it always kicked my butt, so I wanted to resurrect that. But then I saw the new Myco Tyrant legendary fungus guy, and I might build both. Why not? There's no limit, right? All right, next up, Tendril of the Myco Tyrant. Hey, another fungus card. Maybe it's a sign. 5 and double green. Put 7 1/1 counters on target non-creature land you control. It becomes a 0/0 fungus creature with haste, and it's still a land. Okay. Bears are getting better and better. Green and a colorless for 2/2 with all that. Cool. All right, next is Tithing Blades. Artifact equipment, colorless and a black. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature, and this is new to me. It says craft with creature, 4 and a black. Exile this artifact and exile a creature you control or a creature card from your graveyard. Return this card transformed under its owner's control. This can only be done as a sorcery. So what's the backside? It is Consuming Sepulcher. That says at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. Oh, that would be good in my black-white clerics deck, which is all about making people lose life and me gaining life. And it's oh, it's not an equipment. I misspoke. I saw a knife and I thought, oh, equipment. I'm actually pretty stoked about that. That is nice. Ooh. We got a full art rare land, Restless Vents. So it enters the battlefield tapped, tap for black or red, and colorless, black and red until end of turn. Restless Vents becomes a 2/3 black and red insect creature with menace, still land. Whenever it attacks, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Cool. New man lands. Glass is falling down. I like that. Woo! First pack, Planeswalker. Legend. Mythic. Also legendary, I guess. 3 red and white. Alright. Hope you guys like mispronounced words, because I'm going to be butchering a lot of them. Kentorius Cond. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, Cond deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. +1, you get to make a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. -3, you get to discover 4. And then the big -6 is exile any number of target cards from your graveyard. And you get to add 1 red mana for each card exiled. This way, you may play those cards this turn. That's cool. And it comes with 4 loyalty counters on it. Well, heck yeah, hope that's a good sign. Ripping the first mythic, right? First pack. Then we've got a foil Bat Colony. So this thing is an enchantment for 2 and a white. When it enters the battlefield, we get to make a 1/1 black bat with flying for each mana from a cave spent to cast it. Oh, right. I don't know if it's new, but it's new to me. Some lands can have a cave type now. So whenever a cave enters the battlefield under our control, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Don't know if there's enough caves out there to reliably make that happen in a commander deck. Maybe that's more of like a smaller format, limited, standard, I guess, yeah. And then got a map token. Pretty cool map token icon. Okay. And whatever this weird, eventually a Dreadmaw. MagicSecretLair.com. Ah, advertising more secret layers. Got it. All right. Going to continue on with the next pack. Still got quite a few more to go. Oops, missed the art token. Put that in there. I like using these boxes to keep my cards organized by color, rarity, and decks that I'm brewing on. Because why not? Comes with a box, right? Might as well make some use of it. Okay, so starting out, giant. Looks like a giant light bulb right off the bat. I think it's a bat. Is it a bat? I'm gonna say it's a bat. Maybe it's not. Who knows? Not me. I'm sure someone else out there is like, it's a bat, dumbass. All right. Hidden Cataract. So we got a cave. Enters the battlefield tapped. You get to tap it for blue, and you can pay 4 and a blue to tap it, sacrifice it, discover 4, but only activate it as a sorcery. Okay. Next up, Petrify is an enchantment aura for 1 and a white. Enchant artifact or creature. And the enchanted permanent can't attack, block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. Okay, so kind of like pacifism, right? Then we got a green sorcery, Over the Edge. So 1 and a green, we get to choose 1. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Or we can choose target creature you control explores and then explores again. So since I took a long Magic hiatus, right? So it's over 5 years, probably 6. Time flies. So exploring is something I'm still trying to learn. Reveal the top card of your library, put that card into your hand, and but only if it's a land. Otherwise, we put a 1/1 counter on the creature that explored and put the card either back or on top of our library. It just says put the card back. Okay, so reveal the top card of your library, put that card into your hand if it's a land. Otherwise, oh yeah, put it back on top of your library. Or you can put it into the graveyard and then repeat this process since it says explore again. Cool. I have been a big fan of any of these that have more than one option, because it seems like the last time I was like really playing many years ago now, having that many options at least I don't feel like it was that common. I don't feel like it was. Next up, got a Deep Goblin Skull Taker in black for 2 and a black. It's got Menace for a 2/2, and at the beginning of our end step, if we descended this turn, meaning a permanent went to our graveyard, we can put a 1/1 counter on this goblin. You descended if a permanent card was put into your graveyard from anywhere. Okay. So I guess even if you discard a permanent card, that counts as descending. Good to know. Good to know. Another fungus. Common one, right? Skullcap Snail. Colorless and a red. Fungus Snail. When Skullcap Snail enters the battlefield, target opponent exiles a card from their hand. It's a 1/1. Got a Primordial Gnaw. 4 and a black for an insect horror that's a 5/2. When it dies, we get to discover 3. Discover is exile cards from the top of our library until we exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less, since it has discover 3. Got it. Cast it without paying its mana cost, or put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Okay, so you don't have to cast it. Gives you options. Gives us options. Council of the Echoes. We got 4 and a double blue for a Spirit Advisor. Looks like, yep, and that is my first uncommon. Yes, first uncommon in the pack. 4/4 flyer that has Descend 4. When it enters the battlefield, if we got 4 more permanents in our graveyard, we get to return one non-land permanent, target non-land permanent other than the Council that goes to its owner's hand. Wow, that's going to be really good in limited. So not only do you get a 4/4 flyer, but if you meet the descend thing, if you meet the requirements, you get to bounce your opponent's creature, one of them anyway. Or I guess you could bounce your own, right? You could bounce your own. So if you got tricks for enter the battlefield, do that. Self-Reflection, got 4 and a double blue. So it's a sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. Flashback is 3 and a blue. So flashback, I do remember that. You may cast this from your graveyard for its flashback cost and then exile that card. Hooray, things I remember. Chart and a Course. It's got 1 and a blue sorcery, uncommon. Draw 2 cards, and then we have to discard a card unless we attack this turn. Okay. Ooh. Got a fancy art. So Kutzel Malamut Exemplar is a Selesnya guy. 1 and green-white for a 3/3 legendary cat warrior. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control with power greater than its base power deals combat damage, draw a card. Okay, what is that? Okay. When 1 or more creatures I control, each with power greater than its base power. Gotcha. So if your creatures are bigger than they started out, now it makes sense. Then you get to draw a card. So conditional, but I guess that could be fun in the right commander deck. I mostly play commander, so everything I'm looking at, I'm thinking about what deck would that be good in. So, rare of the pack. Green. It's a 6/6 dino. Pugnacious Hammer Skull for 2 and a green. Okay, what's the drawback for a 6/6 and 3? Whenever he attacks, while you don't control another dinosaur, put a stun counter on it. Gotcha. That's the big drawback. But a 6/6 for 3, still good. Foil the pack. Green card. River Herald Guide, 2 and a green for a 3/1 Vigilant Merfolk Scout. Whenever they enter the battlefield, it explores. Oh, and a throwback card. I remember this dude. Pawn of the Ulamog. Rise of the Eldrazi, if I remember right. And when, 2010. Guess it has been a long time. Whenever this guy enters the battlefield or another non-token creature you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may put a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature token onto the battlefield, and it has sacrificed the creature for 1 colorless mana. That was a nice little flashback. Doesn't have flashback. But, you know, another pack. Let's check it out. This is definitely more talking than I'm used to in one video, but good times. What the heck is that? Okay, that's the artwork, right? Some big scaly looking dude and what looks like a crazy monarch. Whoa, wonder what card that is. We will find out by flipping the card over and reading it, because somebody reminded me in a comment that the card is on the back, and I just remembered that. So that guy is Osier Koslim, Deepest Growth. I think that's one of the gods. Weird looking god. First up is the Green Cave, Hidden Nursery. Hidden Nursery comes in play tapped. I'm going to guess they all do. Green when you tap it, 4 and a green to sack it, discover 4. Okay, so I'm guessing it's a cycle, right? So they probably all do the same thing. We'll find out. Another Petrify. Another Over the Edge. Another Deep Goblin Skulltaker. Another Skullcap Snail. Got a lot of repeats in this pack. Another Primordial Gnar. Okay. Dupe City up in here. Rampaging Ceratops. This is new to me, or new that we've opened so far. So for 4 and a red, we get a 5/4 Dino. He cannot be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. Gotta have 3 or more. Bloodthorn Flail. It is an equipment. For 1 black, we get a equipment that gives an equipped creature +2/+1. To equip it, it costs 3 colorless mana or discard a card. That's really good. 1 black mana, and you can equip it without having to pay mana by discarding a card. Probably not as amazing in Commander, but that sounds like it would be really good in a constructed format. Heck, probably legendary draft too. Ooh. Hurl into History. 3 and a double blue for an uncommon instant. Counter target artifact or creature spell, discover X, where X is the spell's mana value. It's a pretty expensive counter spell, but could have a good payoff. I read this card wrong. Sahili's Lattice, I said lettuce. 1 and a red for an artifact that enters the battlefield. We may discard a card, and if we do, we draw 2 cards. It has craft with 1 or more dinosaurs, meaning 4 and red mana. Exile this artifact, and then we have to exile 1 or more dinosaurs we control and or dinosaur cards from our graveyard. If we do, we get to return this transformed. And it transforms into a Mastercraft Raptor. Ooh, what's that? Star and 4. Its power is equal to the total power of the exiled cards used to craft it. Just looking at it, I don't think that sounds that good, but maybe. Maybe I'm just bad at Magic. Ooh, got the blue-red boat. That will go. What's this guy do? So for 2 and blue-red, we get a 5/5 vehicle, legendary artifact. When it attacks, we create a treasure token. Until the end of turn, we can look at the top card of our library at any time, and we can play lands and cast spells from the top of our library. And the crew cost is 3. Hey, I remember something. Crew cost. Foil is an uncommon. We've got clay-fired bricks. 1 in a white For an artifact that enters the battlefield, we search our library for a basic plains card, reveal it, and then we put it into our hand and gain 2 life. It has craft with artifact for 5 and double white. So we exile this artifact, another artifact we control, or an artifact from our graveyard, and then it transforms to Cosmium Kiln. Cosmium Kiln. So when this enters the battlefield, we create 2 1/1 colorless gnomes that are artifact creature tokens. Creatures you control get 1/1. Okay. Would that be worth it in Risk the Redeemed? You know, going wide on tokens? It's an Anthem-like effect, right? Maybe. Probably wouldn't make the cut compared to all the other amazing cards that I want to put in there, but I think it's on point, though. And then the last card is... Wait a minute. Oh, okay, so I'm guessing this is from... I was not playing the last time Ixalan was around. This guy right here. So this is new to me. It's Ixalan's Binding. So 3 and a white. Enters the battlefield. Exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. Your opponents can't cast spells with the same name as the exiled card. Okay. So what? That'd be like a Pithing Needle and something else combined. Like a... I can't think of the card name, but the entering the battlefield to make something exiled until it leaves the battlefield. I am familiar with that. All right. Still chasing Jeff Goldblum, and oh, I really want the new White God. That I remember seeing that spoiled, and the big thing I was stoked about was if you would make 1 or more tokens, you make 3 times as much. So I was thinking, like with Risk the Redeemed, if I have 2 tokens out on the battlefield, right, and I activate Risk's second ability to double the tokens I've got on the battlefield. So if I have 2, I would normally make 2, but if I had that White God out, I would make 6. And that was just like, ooh. That's assuming I don't have parallel lives or... I'm spacing it out right now, the other green one. Doubling Season. Doubling Season. Yeah. All right. Got 5 more packs to go through. Rip that one open. Garbage. Oops. Advertisement card. Don't care. And what the heck is this guy? Bug art. So this is Triumphant Chomp. Cool. Oh, got the full art mountain. Not foil, but still pretty. Runaway Boulder. So that's an artifact for 6 with flash. I guess you don't see many artifacts with flash that I know of. So when it enters the battlefield, you deal 6 damage to target creature and opponent controls, and it has cycling 2, meaning pay 2, discard this card, and draw a card. That's instant speed removal for my... Which I have a colorless commander deck. Kozilek is my commander, and that is an instant speed artifact removal. Or removal in artifact form. Costs 6, but everything in that deck is expensive, right? Next up, Brazen Blade Master. 2 in a red. It's an orc pirate. Whenever Blade Master attacks while we control 2 or more artifacts, it gets +2/+1 until end of turn. 2/3 flavor text says the secret is footwork plus an extra sword. Then we've got red Tectonic Hazard, 1 red sorcery, deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature they control. Whoa. That's a 1 cost potential board wipe if they have a lot of tokens. Or other whatever reason you would want to deal 1 damage to everything. If that is a reprint, I don't know about it at this time. Goblin Tomb Raider. 1 for a 1/2 Goblin Pirate. As long as you control an artifact, it gets +1 power and haste. Ooh. Colorless Cave. Baltal Fault. Tap for colorless. You can pay 1 to sack this land and destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls. That player may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, and then we get the treasure token. Rogue's Passage, you know who you are. Boom. Rogue's Passage bones me in so many games. It's a great card. Got a new red card. Enterprising Scallywag. I love that. I don't know if it's too close. We'll find out after I watch the video here. So, adorable looking Goblin Pirate says, at the beginning of our end step, if we descend to this turn, create a treasure token. 2/2, he would have wanted me to have it. It's the flavor text. Alright, we got a blue pirate here for 2, 1 in a blue for a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact or pirate card from among them and put it in your hand. Otherwise, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Not any order you choose. Random order. Ooh. Alternate artwork. Got a belligerent yearling for a 1 colorless and a red 3/2 trampling dino. Whenever another dinosaur enters the battlefield under our control, you can have this yearling's base power become equal to that creature's power till end turn. Okay, so right now I've got, and I can't remember his name because I just made him recently, but from the original Ixalan set, I got the red, white, green. I think it's Zakma was his name. Amazing commander, of course, but you become an instant must deal with threat when that dude's on the table, right? Because he just wins games. He is his own win condition. If I decide to continue fleshing out that dino deck, add a lot more dinos, that would be pretty good. Pretty good. Ooh, I see an alternate art. It's our rare Palani Hatcher. Palani's Hatcher. 3 in red-green for a 5/3 dino. Other dinosaurs you control have haste. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 0/1 green dinosaur egg creature tokens. Oh god. I have a friend that is going to want that in his dino egg deck. It's a pretty good deck. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 1 or more eggs, sacrifice an egg, then create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token. I'm not looking forward to dealing with that guy. Another land, Restless Anchorage. Ha! Blue-white, enters the battlefield tapped, and 1 white and a blue. Until in a turn, it becomes a 2/3 white and blue bird creature with flying. Still land. Whenever it attacks, you get a map token. And our fancy foil, Hoverstone Pilgrim, 5 for 2/5, Flying War 2. 2 has a cost of 2 if you want to put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. I'm sure there's a deck for that, but I don't know what it is. All right. Third one, or fourth one. Open that one up. Okay. Whoa, that is a colorful card. No idea what it is, but let's read it so we don't get reminded that we could have just read the back. Tishana's Tidebinder. Ooh. The Black Cave, Necropolis, Hidden One. Enters battlefield tapped, tap for black. Has the same 4 and a black cost to tap it, sack it, discover 4. Activate as sorcery. Got Plundering Pirate. 2 and a red. When it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. It is 3 and 2. Orc Pirate. Buried Treasure. 2 for an artifact treasure. You can tap it to sacrifice it and add 1 mana of any color. Or you can pay 5 to exile it from your graveyard. Discover 5, activate only as a sorcerer. Okay. You get double use out of it. Then I got Daring Discovery, 4 and a red. Up to 3 target creatures can't block this turn. Sorcery speed, discover 4. Ooh, new equipment, Sunfire Torch. 1 red, equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has whenever this creature attacks, you may sacrifice it, and when you do, this deals 2 damage to any target. Equip cost is 1 colorless. Orca's Puzzle Door. Sorry. Orozca, sure. 1 to tap and sacrifice it. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of those cards into your hand, other into the graveyard. Okay? Don't have any decks that I want that in right now. Spelunking. 2 and a green. Enchantment enters the battlefield. We draw a card, and we may put a land from our hand onto the battlefield. If that land was a cave, we gain 4 life. Lands you control enter the battlefield untapped. That is going to go in. I've got a black-green Gitrog monster deck, you know, land recursion. That would be great. That could also be really good in my mono-green Tree Folk deck, which is the Fanghorn guy from the Lord of the Rings set. Definitely going in one of those 2 decks. Probably both when I get a second copy. Maybe I'll open it now. Next up, green 1/1 Human Druid. Ixalis? Sure. Lore Keeper. We can tap it to add 1 mana of any color, but we can only spend that mana to cast a dinosaur spell or activate an ability of a dinosaur source. Okay. If I decide to flesh out the dino deck with more dinos instead of red, white, green good stuff, I think I'll try that out. Calamitous Cave-In. It's red. Get out of here, bugs. 1 bug. Anyway, random fly. Annoying. 3 and a red. Sorcery. Cave-In deals X damage to each creature and each planeswalker, where X is the number of caves you control, plus the number of caves in your graveyard. Don't know if I can make that work, but interesting. Ooh, I loved this one. So the Seething Tower, the alternate art. I like that. God, I don't know if you can get a good look at that, but that artwork is awesome. Digging it. I love it. Warden of the Sky, Inner Sky. 1 white for a 1/2. Human Soldier, as long as it has 3 or more counters on it, it has flying and vigilance. We can tap 3 untapped artifacts and or creatures we control to put a 1/1 counter on them. And if we do that, we get to scry 1, but we can only do that as a sorcery. It's not bad. I just don't have a deck for him, but that's cool. Foil red. 2 and a red enchantment aura. Enchant creature that you control. When it enters the battlefield, we discover 3. An enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has trample. Retro reprinting of Leap, which is blue for an instant. Target creature you control gains flying. Oh no, sorry. Just target creature gets flying until end of turn. Draw a card. Hey, buddy. How about you leap and slap my opponent in the head, right? I'll draw a card. Down to the last 3 packs. Hey, kitty. All right. Whoop. It begun. Okay. Oh, we got a gold stamp art card. Still don't know what the gold stamp means. I know I could Google it. Maybe later. And this dude is called Inti, Seneschal of the Sun. Oh, another cave. This one's captivating. Tap it for a colorless. We can pay 1 to tap it and add 1 mana of any color, so filter land. Okay. 4 to tap it and sacrifice it to put 2 1/1 counters on a creature, on target creature. Activate as a sorcery. Join the Dead. 1 and double black. Target, it's an instant speed. Target creature gets -5/-5 till end of turn. If we meet Descend 4 requirements, that creature gets -10 until end of turn if there are 4 more permanents in our graveyard. Okay. Oh, another new fungal thing. Fungal Fortitude is an enchantment aura for 1 and a black. It has flash, so instant speed at least, right? Enchant a creature, and enchanted creature gets +2 power. When the enchanted creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. That would be good in the zombie deck that I'm thinking about, but also maybe worth putting it in the black-green Fungus Lore deck if I ever make it, because I hope I get that card. Please. Mineshaft Spider. 3 and a green, has reach. It's a 3/4 spider. When it enters the battlefield, we mill 2 cards. Child of the Volcano. Got 3 in a red, trample. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, you put a 1/1 counter on Child of the Volcano. Okay? It's an elemental. I have no use for that. I'm going to say that would be okay in draft. Maybe not great, but okay. Swashbuckling Whip. Swashbuckler's Whip. For 1 colorless, we get an equipment. Equipped creature has the ability to pay 2 and tap it. Tap target artifact or creature. And then it has another ability, 8 mana. Tap it to discover 10. Good God. So if we did that ability, we would be exiling cards from the top of our library until we hit something that's mana value 10 or less. I guess if you're running really big creatures. Ooh. Red-blue. Captain Storm, Cosmium Raider. It's a legendary pirate. For 2/2, blue and a red for 2/2. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under our control, we can put a 1/1 counter on a target pirate we control. I guess that could include itself. Another Hoverstone Pilgrim. Ooh. Lodestone Needle. Blue and a colorless for an artifact that has flash. When it enters the battlefield, we can tap up to 1 target artifact or creature and put 2 stun counters on it. It also has craft with artifact, 2 and a blue. We can exile it or another artifact we control or an artifact from our graveyard to transform it into Guidestone Compass. 1, tap it, target creature you control explores, activate only as a sorcery. Jeff Goldblum. Yeah. Ian Malcolm Chaotician. Okay. 1 in a blue-red. 2/2. Legendary Human Scientist. Whenever a player draws their second card each turn, that player exiles the top card of their library. During each player's turn, each player, not just yours, during each player's turn, that player may cast a spell among the cards they don't own, exiled with Ian Malcolm Chaotician, and mana of any type can be spent to cast it. I used to run a Chaos deck that was Grixis, Lord of Tressorhorn. Yes, I know he's terrible. Maybe don't look him up. He's really bad. Anyway, called it Dragon Booty Chaos because the sleeves I had a chick on it with a dragon butt tattoo. Anyway, it was all cards that were rule-changing effects, random anything. It was chaos. God, I'm so happy I got Jeff Goldblum. That is awesome. You've heard of Chaos Theory is the flavor text. I will do a different video on when Jeff Goldblum becomes my deck. I'm going to try my hardest not to net deck anything because that wouldn't be very chaotic, would it? Success in video. Got the card I wanted. Okay. Rare. Green. Sentinel of the Nameless City. 2 and a green. 3/4 vigilance. Whenever Sentinel of the Nameless City enters the battlefield or attacks, create a map token. Nice. Ooh. Foil Bet Colony. And random Magic minigame, Strictly Better. I was so hoping I would get that card. So now the only other cards that I'm really chasing besides one I just got would be the green-black Myco Tyrant legendary guy and the White God. Those are my... I want them. So excited. That's going to be a ton of fun to play. If by some random chaotic chance out there, Jeff Goldblum, if you happen to just be watching a TikTok about you on Magic cards, please sign my card. That would be so happy. 2 packs to go. Whatever we open at this point is gravy for me because I got the card I wanted most. And that doesn't happen often, I feel like, when I buy fat packs. Not like the card I wanted. But I know that art. That's the White God guy. Alright, let's butcher this name pronunciation. His name, Oger Talk Deepest Foundation. Promising Vein. It's cave, tap, sacrifice, tap for colorless, 1 to sack it, and search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. That might be worth putting in my green-black Gitrog deck just for a land sacrifice trigger. Plus I'll get to draw a card if I do that. Ooh, another fungus, Deathcap Marionette. So it's a colorless and a black for a 1/1 fungus that has Death Touch, enters the battlefield, you may mill 2 cards. Says mycoids have no concept of life or death. All things exist and all things can be made useful. Another fungus. Man, everything's turning up me. Brood Rage Mycoid, 3 and a black for a 4/3. At the beginning of your end step, if we descended, we get to make a 1/1 black fungus creature token that can't block. Echo of Dusk. Descend 4, as long as there are 4 more permanents in our graveyard, it gets 1/1 and has lifelink. It's a 2/2 for a black and a colorless. Screaming Phantom. That is a common for 2 and a black, flying 2/2 spirit. Whenever it attacks, mill a card. Another Chance. 2 and a black, instant speed. You may mill 2 cards, then return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. Nikenzill, Current Conductor. Green and a blue for a 2/3. It's a legendary Merfolk Scout. Whenever a creature you control explores a land card, you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Whenever a creature you control explores a non-land card, put a 1/1 counter on the Current Conductor. Could be fun. Don't think I'm going to play with it, but it seems good. Kinjali's Dawn Runner. 2 and a white for a 1/1 double strike human scout, uncommon. When it enters the battlefield, it explores. Glimpse the Core. It's a green and a colorless sorcery. We have 2 options. Choose one. Search our library for a forest card, put it into the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. Or return target cave card from our graveyard to the battlefield tapped. If I decide to add caves into the Gitrog monster, then that could go in there. It's pretty cutthroat in my mono green tree folk deck. So yes, it's another land tutor ability, but I feel like I've got better options for that unless I decide to add a lot of caves, and in which case I feel like this would be better in Gitrog monster. Idol of the Deep King. It's a red artifact. Has flash, enter the battlefield. It deals 2 damage to any target, and it has craft with artifact. So we can pay 2 and a red to exile it. We can exile another artifact or an artifact from our graveyard and transform it to Sovereign's Makua Hutl. Whenever Makua Hutl enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Equip creature gets +2 power. It has a regular cost of 2 to equip. 2 colorless. Rare's Braided Net. What's this thing do? 2 and a blue for an artifact that enters the battlefield with 3 net counters on it. We can remove a net counter from it. Tap another target non-land permanent. Its activated abilities can't be activated for as long as it remains tapped. It has craft with artifact for 1 and a blue to turn into Braided Kipu? Sure, Weepu? Kipu. 3 and a blue, tap it. Draw a card for each artifact you control, then put Braided Kipu into its owner's library, third from the top. So specific. Got a foil Shipwreck Sentry. Or I think we're rid of that one. Gnome Soldier token. Okay. Some uncommon, some fungus stuff in there I like. Last pack. Last pack. Ooh, I know that guy's the Bat God. His name's not Alcatraz, it's Akalazatz. Akalazatz. Deepest Betrayal. Full art Greenland. Looks nice. Makes me think of posters, like artwork for posters. Got another Deathcap Marionette. Which, actually, did I already get one of these? In case I didn't, it's a 1 colorless and a black for a 1/1 Death Touch fungus that enters the battlefield. You may mill 2 cards. Don't know if I already got one of those. I'll have to look later and review the tape. Brood Rage Mycoid. That's the guy that makes a token if we descended at the end of our turn. Echo of Dusk. Another one of those. Screaming Phantom. Another one of those. Another chance. Okay. Confounding Riddle. I don't think I got this one yet. 2 and a blue for an instant. We can choose one of 2 things. We can either look at the top 4 cards of our library. 1 goes to our hand, the rest to the graveyard. Or counter target spell unless its controller pays 4 colorless. Yeah, maybe. Eaten by Piranhas. That's a cool art. So 1 and a blue has a flash enchant creature aura. Enchanted creature loses all its abilities and becomes a black skeleton with power and toughness 1/1. Forgotten Monument. So it's a cave. Tap for colorless. Other caves you control have tap it, pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color. Eek. Tithing Blade. Another one of those. Okay. Rare Magmatic Galleon. It's a vehicle, right? Yes, it is. 3 and double red. It's a 5/5 vehicle. Artifact. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage to target creature and opponent controls. Whenever 1 or more creatures your opponent's control are dealt excess non-combat damage, we get to make a treasure token. Crew cost is 2. And foil Greedy Footbooter. Freebooter. Black for a 1/1 human pirate that when it dies, scry 1 and create a treasure token. And then blank card. Whew. Alright. I didn't get a ton of the cards I was after, but I got the most important one. And I got the Newman card. Pretty happy with that, actually. I know, yeah, I could have just ordered Jeff Goldblum, but, I mean, come on. Who doesn't like the first thing you buy from a new Magic set, and it's the card that you were hoping to get? So happy about that. Where you at, Jeff? Jeff, where you at? Okay. Oh no, I lost him. Jeff will have to sail on the Belligerent. Yes, that's happening. Where you at? Come on, get him up front. Good lord, you. No, he was sooner than that in this pile. But, oh my goodness. So many cards. So many cards. Alright. Trying to carefully side fan to see where he's at. Oh, there he is. Full art. Ian Malcolm. Score. God, that'd be cool to get this autograph by him. Who knows? Throwing it out there into the universe. If somehow someone watching this has connection with him, that'd be cool. That'd be so cool to get that autographed. Anyway, so thoughts for the decks, for the blue-red. So I really enjoy anything that does the coin flips. Just, it's not competitive, it's not great, but it's fun, right? And other cards that like change direction. So using the blue, I'll probably get some steal your stuff type effects. I'll think about it. So if you enjoyed this, please let me know, because this is the longest form video I have done opening magic cards. So far, my average video on TikTok here, or if you watch this on YouTube, even on YouTube, which I'm Damage Zombie MTG on YouTube, the longest or the most views I get is usually somewhere between 500 to 800. My best performing ones is getting between 1 and 2,000 views. So clearly people like watching me open up a single booster at a time. Trying this out to see how'd you like hanging out with me and opening up new bundle on launch day. I'm probably going to do this again come next year when the next set comes out. I'll open up another one. It's a good time.